All right, who is ready to have some fun? Got a website here called Gimkit. It's been out for a little while now. And the best part about this is it's not developed by some big company, but it's developed by a high school student. Okay, so this was a student who saw a need to make some of these things better and wanted to learn some programming along the way and made this awesome platform for us. So the difference between Gimkit and some other quizzing tools like Kahoot or Quizzes is that this one is definitely more game-based, kind of like your students are used to. There's the ability to buy upgrades throughout there, and basically they're trying to earn as much cash as they can, and they do that by getting some power-ups, answering questions right in a row. They can compete against their classmates by using some power-ups that would go against them, that would cause them to lose money or not make as much, or things like that. There's a lot of other features like seasons and things like that, so they're constantly competing against each other. So we're at gimkit.com here. I've already signed up. This one does not have the Google single sign-on, so you do have to actually create an account. And there are two versions of this. There is a free version and a paid version as well. I can't recall the price of the paid version. It gives you some more features, but I think we can also do pretty well with the free version here. So when you come in, the first thing that you'll need to do is you'll need to make a kit. And a kit is, on the free version, you're allowed up to 5 kits. And basically that's just your quiz set right there. Now the nice thing about this is that while you can only have 5, if you've already made these on Quizlet, you can just keep importing these, and then if you need to make another one, if you need to delete one for a moment, you could delete it and add your new one. The other option is that you could have a spreadsheet of these as well, and have that saved, so when you need to put a new one in, you just bring in your spreadsheet again. So I'm not going to create a new one, but you can see some of the options right there. So I have this one right here that I've gone with already, made it, I brought it in straight from Quizlet. So here's my questions, and the green is the correct answers, and I can edit it. I could look at some reports for this to see, all right, when did I last play this? And I can go back and view, okay, what happened right here. So I could see some of the different things about which questions were correct the most, incorrect, what was the difference between the correct and incorrect. So you get some good reporting features right there. I'm going to go back though. So these kits are for live quizzing purposes, but I can also make an assignment as well. So I can assign this, and with an assignment, there you could set a goal for how much cash the student needs to earn in order to complete the assignment. Now, one of the bad things is that there's no login for them, so I just have a list of students, and technically outside of class a student could do the assignment for everyone if he really wanted to. But they can join, and then they just have to get $500,000, and that could be done through a variety of using power-ups and accumulating cash more quickly, getting answer streaks, and things like that. I'm going to close that for now. Okay, and yeah, you'll create classes, and your classes can compete against each other as a whole class, but they can also compete against each other in there as well. So another cool feature is the Kit Collab, which just means that I'm able to bring my students into this, and they can start building their own questions that they want to play with. So it's great for just having students come up with the questions and some different answers, and you get to accept or reject them. And then just a little more student ownership right there. I'm just going to show you what this looks like if we decide to play it right here. Okay, so some different things. There's these power-ups going, or these different game modes going on through this Teacher Appreciation Week. These aren't available all the time, but classic, meaning that each student is participating or working for themselves, or team mode. I could put students together in teams, and their team has to earn the most amount of money. Some different games. I could say that we're going to play this for a certain amount of time, and then their goal is to get the most money before the time runs out. I could say that we're trying to reach a certain amount, so the first one to get $1 million wins. Or we could just say, okay, we're all going to try and reach $20 million, and that's when the game ends. So if first place has 10 million, second place has 8 million, then everyone else has a little bit. That's the end of the game right there. I can choose my class. I'm just going to go with time right here. I'll do 5 minutes. I'll speed through some of that. I can give them some starting cash. Starting cash is useful for buying some power-ups. And handicapped, so if someone's doing really poorly, they can't go below $50, negative $50. I can let them see the right answer, put music on. This clapping, this is for at the very end, they can clap for whoever won. Let them join in. And I could choose different things if I want them to do power-ups or if I just want them to answer the questions. They can buy different themes to kind of customize it. This clean power-ups only means they can only do power-ups that help themselves and don't hurt other players. Sometimes you might want that, especially if you have a player who's like, oh, everyone's ganging up on me. So I'm just going to leave that off for the moment. I'm going to go to continue, and they just enter in this code right here. So I'm going to put this in another window right here. I go in, choose my name, and it gives me some directions I can draw while I'm waiting for my teacher to start the game. We'll go ahead and start. And on my end, I get some of this information about who's in the leaderboard, things like that. So we go, they start off really low. Obviously, I would want to go to the shop. I can do some things, money per question. So I can get $5 per question. I could buy that for $10. And go back to the shop. Oops. Again, maybe I want to get some more money per question. Maybe go back to the shop. Do this one. And do some streak bonus. Just I can buy that directly, and then we'll do a multiplier here. So now I can work on just getting these answers right, and some of those other power-ups. Some things that I could do. I could help a friend out. I can take money away from someone, and I could freeze them a little bit. So a lot of different things that you can do. You can even protect yourself from those things. But I mean, really, the point is they're going through this and they're just answering these questions, trying to get as much money as possible, basically competing against each other. So I'm going to let this fast forward to the end. Alright, so as a student, we would get to see this, and so I got first, so I could clap for myself. That's my final balance right there. I could see my different scores right there. On the teacher's end, I could see this right here, where my students fell. I could view the report like I showed you earlier, so I could see data from all of my students saying, like, alright, what was the accuracy of the class as a whole, which questions were the most difficult, and then get an individual report to see some different data about my students as well. So fun thing about this is, you're able to play it again. You can do things like, let me show you seasons right here, so that kids, they're not just competing one time right here, but they're competing against each other throughout the season. So someone who's absent is going to get behind, but someone who might not have done well the first time, they can still try to reach first in the season as well. So it really encourages that kind of play that students are familiar with. So go ahead, check it out, gimkit.com.